Welcome to Prog Will Find a Way, our progcast all about progressive rock. I'm Jay Valade.
And I'm Jonathan Block. And time for a news episode,
Yes.
freestyle news episode. A lot of things have been going on. You hopefully saw our last episode where we did the unboxing of the Marillion.com deluxe edition, and Jay still has to listen to a lot of the Blu-ray, so we're going to save that for another episode. But since we are on Marillion, they
Yes.
recently played Pompeii.
They did. They just finished up their
So
Pompeii night.
we know Floyd played Pompeii.
Yep.
Gilmore played Pompeii. Has someone else played it recently? I thought another band did.
do not.
Anyways, Marillion. Like,
Yeah.
what's the? Do you know the story behind this?
I have no idea.
Okay, if anybody knows the story behind this, like, how did they approach?
I think they probably did.
Okay.
And I think it was probably like the Floyd thing had come out, and it was like, and they're like, we should play that.
Right. Why not?
So I think they reached out and they figured out how to do it.
Now, organically, nothing, and I see Marillion stuff comes up on my feed on YouTube, but I have not seen any videos from Pompeii. Have you?
I have not.
Okay.
They specifically asked everyone, please do not film it. We're filming it ourselves. There will be a movie or a live release.
All right, but no.
I have not. I purposely have not looked for it because I'm like, I'll just wait.
Right.
I didn't even look at the set list.
Okay, so so we don't even know what they played.
I don't even know what they played. I did see somebody did a snippet and said stuff, and I was like, oh, those all look like good songs, but I could not tell you. I could not.
Okay, but we don't know if there were any surprises or anything like that.
I believe they played the new song. That would be the only.
All right. Well, if no spoiler alerts here, but if you feel like leaving them below, please do. Still interesting, very.
Yeah, but we're still waiting now that this is done. This was like a big moment for them to be doing this, and they've been gearing up for it. And then now they got to finish up the album that they've been working on, which we still don't have a title for.
Okay.
And then they have to gear up for all the weekends that are coming up in the spring.
Right.
Still don't know the other day. There's 4 or 5 open dates that don't have cities attached to them, or we know that Montreal's one of them, but we don't know which dates. And so,
and
they're still waiting.
And they're gonna have to figure out a release schedule for the new album and
for the new album,
Pompeii.
For Pompeii, for any. Well, no, as we talked about last time. Once they figure out the title and start the artwork and finishing it up, there's going to have to be this, hopefully, deluxe edition that you have to sign up for and the whole thing. Yep. Nothing has been released.
Okay.
So that's where we are with that.
But speaking of videos, I was surprised a week or so ago to go on YouTube and all of a sudden be Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford, and Peter Gabriel's in the studio listening to the first album that none of them would ever talk about. I mean,
the first album of
Genesis to Revelation. And Anthony Phillips has been involved with the release. I don't know why he wasn't there, but it was actually interesting. And I remember telling Jay, I was like, well, they got to one of them, and one of them convinced the others. And then I'm like, no, of course it's Tony, because I believe Tony's, a bunch of Tony stuff is on Esoteric. And I've read that. So that would make sense. But then I also thought, like, they've always been close, and they still are. So this is the chance to kind of just get out there without no Phil. There's no Phil. I mean, there's no Phil involved at all.
There's no Phil on that album?
No Steve Hackett. So it's really just that core 4, the original 4.
Yeah.
Because you sit there, it's only like a minute long, but they're talking about and like they seem kind of into it's like, if you've been a Genesis fan for years and years, it's very good to see, but it's kind of shocking in its own way because everybody's always dismissed that first album. Now we're getting a 4-disc deluxe set.
But at the same time, for them, there's got to be some huge element of nostalgia for them because that was the beginning of their whole career. So I mean, for them to get together now, 60
Garden Wall and whatever the other band was.
50 years, between 50 and 60 years later, they're like, it's got to be fun to kind of look back on that, particularly if they're still friendly.
Yeah,
like, just to sit there and chat about it it's like water under the bridge for them. But at the same time, after 60 years or 58 years or however long it's been, it's got to be kind of an interesting moment for them because they're all still around.
Yeah, they are all still around right now. So that's interesting. And then speaking of Phil, Face Value is coming out as a deluxe box.
Yes.
Steve
Wilson did that, I believe.
Yeah. There's bonus stuff on there, but a lot of it has been out before. But in the latest issue of Prog magazine, the one that has the Alan Parsons Project cover story, they have a new interview with Phil.
Oh.
And it's cool.
All right,
it's
very interesting. I gotta read that.
He's like most people, he's mellowed out substantially. But it's interesting because he seems more willing to talk about stuff more so than he has in the past.
Yeah.
So it is definitely an interesting. So we got the box. Yeah, let's move into Yes. Remember we talked about
this? We talked about the release of the Roosevelt Stadium 17 June 1976 release on Rhino.
So this isn't considered the Relayer tour. This is considered the solo albums tour?
Yes, because it was 1976 and Relayer came out in 74 and then they toured it and then they toured it again and then they did this. Right. So they had this moment. I mean, it felt like forever when you were looking back on it, but it was between 74 and 77 that they just toured a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, it was only a 3-year period, which in today's world is like nothing.
Nothing. And we know already for a fact, based on the radio shows and boots that have been out, that there are many other shows other than this one to populate a Relayer box with.
Hopefully.
So,
yes. There's a lot of chatter online about it, but nobody really knows because they haven't announced.
Well, and we still don't know why this just kind of dropped out of nowhere.
I think it was because it was the 250th anniversary of the United States, and this came out right around the same time, and they were like, "Oh, it's coincides," and this was in Philly or in Jersey City, close enough to Philly. But,
I like that perspective. I never thought of that.
But I don't know. Maybe they're just waiting in between. Yeah. But came out on vinyl and on CD. Beautiful new Roger Dean album cover. Little, you know, it's a little reminiscent of some of his other things. I was hoping for something maybe a little more akin to Relayer that would kind of
a little more 70s rather than the 2000s, right? Because this is very laddery and the blues. It's the blues.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's the full concert, except I believe John Anderson came out and because I don't know whether they were late or if there was sound issues, but he came out and did a little acoustic one song thing before Yes came out, but that's not on this.
Oh, okay.
But the rest of the album, the rest of the show, but
it was that
here.
It was
that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it comes in a single sleeve, which is how Rhino seems to like doing these live albums, which is troublesome in the shipping because it's so
flimsy.
It's kind of flimsy and wide. So if there's no album there, like mine came all bent on the corner. So I asked for a new copy, and then a new one came all.
So you're not going to get a triple gatefold like a Yes shows, but you get the cover as opposed to the record store days where you expect just the 3 to be shoved in there.
Right. I was expecting this to have a gatefold at least.
Of some.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I just think it deserves it.
Cost-wise, how does this compare?
It was still on a vinyl. It was still almost $45.
Okay. All right.
You know, so it was still expensive.
Yeah.
Is
it limited or no?
I don't believe so. Okay. The discs themselves have
It's on streaming, by the way. It's not just vinyl only.
The discs themselves have
we can see that on the
they have little labels. Roger Dean labels on each one, and then it's only five, so we get the etched Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that.
I don't know if you can see it, but you have an etched.
You definitely can't see it if you're listening to the podcast.
You can't if you're just listening. But that aside, I'm still talking about packaging here.
Yeah.
They go through. No, the credits at the bottom. They say sound system, sound engineer, stage design, lighting. I don't know why they give you that, and they don't give you one gatefold image of the Big Crab Nebula stage set that they had with all the lasers and the lights and the big backdrop. You would think that if you're going to mention them on the album cover, we'd get an image of what happened.
Maybe they're saving all that for Relayer.
Yeah, but
maybe this is a teaser.
Yeah, why even put it down?
I know. Well, because,
why didn't you say who sold the tickets?
Yeah, no. I completely agree with you, because you never see a lot of that stuff on any other
Right. And so why do I need that information if you're not going to
jam as much info on the back as we can? So.
Anyway, music-wise, you've listened to this.
Yes, I've listened to it. I mean, it's
a high-energy performance.
But they were.
I mean,
absolutely. Any clip I see. So if you're into this era of Yes, there's a gentleman on YouTube who regularly remasters older, mostly the music, right? Bruno S. That's all I'm going to say. And he did Half a Close to the Edge, a QBR.
Which sounds
and I'm like, look, these guys are it just whatever you think of Patrick Moraz, he definitely they were freaking really into this. Like they were really into playing and really and he sounds great.
And they were a little more free with the music.
Yes.
Well, Yes on Yes Songs was free with the music, right?
Yes.
The Tales tour, I don't know how free they were, because they had a pretty set and they were all still learning it as they were doing it. By the time Relayer
and Rick's heart wasn't into it.
Yeah, and by the time Relayer was out for 2 years, they were just jamming up there.
And they were flying high, you know? Yeah. And Moraz sounds good.
He does.
He does a lot of interesting things, but the song selection on there.
Oh, it's great. It is
Sound Chaser is
it is Apocalypse, Siberian True Sound Chaser, Gates of Delirium, I've Seen All Good People, Long Distance Run Around Acoustic, Story of I excerpt from Patrick Moraz's solo album, Clap, Elias of Sunhillow excerpt, which is basically a harp solo by John. It's not any of the songs there. And I don't think somebody said online that Elias hadn't even come out yet.
Okay.
So people are just watching John do a harp solo, right? Yeah. They don't even know what's going on. Ritual, Heart of the Sunrise, Roundabout, and then they do I'm Down by the Beatles, which I believe was put out on one of the Word is Live or something like that.
Right.
But it's pretty good. People are complaining about them switching songs around, but you know, to fit on the record, you got to fit it on, right? So some things are a little out of order compared to how they were performed at the time.
But that sounds great. The performance sounds great. Still, Yes Shows holds the crown for those two songs.
And because you know, Yes Songs itself, everyone says it was a muddy mix and blah 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 blah. This sounds great to me. People are like, you know, quibbling about the source and the this and the that, but I'm happy to have it.
Excellent release.
It's been out as a bootleg because it was originally, I think,
King
radio,
Biscuit. I think
or NEW was doing it. I think it was a live simulcast from at the time, but I love it.
102.7. I think that was NEW. Just thinking back to we all we had was FM radio.
That's right.
So in the New York area. But staying on Yes, there's some other news too. They're pulling out the Blu-rays from Yes album, Fragile, and Close to the Edge, and those are available, or will soon be available separately.
Yep. And then another Yes moment. I went to go see John Anderson and the Band Geeks again.
Yes.
Again, another awesome show.
Yeah.
They were so good. The set list has not changed since I saw them in Ridgefield, the first show of the tour, and now this was the last show of the tour.
All right.
But fantastic. They were at the Palladium in New York City, which is at Times Square, which is where we saw Crimson a number of years ago.
Yep. The old Nokia or whatever it was.
It's not a giant, it's so funny because I have never sat in the back.
It's not big.
But it's not big.
No, it's small. Yeah. It's a theater.
Yeah. It was great though. Fantastic.
And you ran into friend of the show, Matt Beck.
I did run into Matt Beck. It was so funny. I said, because he was there and we were chatting ahead of time, and I'm like, so when's the new album coming out? Because he said, oh, I was lucky enough. I got off from the Broadway show he's working on, He did the matinee, and then he came over and he saw the sound check and
Oh,
caught up with
wow.
all the guys. I said, "So when's the new album coming out?" He goes, "I don't know. They don't tell me that."
Oh, that's great. So the tour's done, right?
The tour is done, and then they're
Okay.
going to go to Europe in
Europe.
September or something like that. So,
And apparently there is a Alan White documentary in production.
yes, I had heard
All Good
about.
People, it's called.
Oh,
The
it
Alan White
is.
Story. It's called
Okay.
All Good People, The Alan White Story.
I had heard about it when they first started it,
Yeah.
but I have not heard anything since. So
There's been
you're more.
I started seeing things in the middle of June. So
Okay.
they must be to the next stage because it was a couple of different drum sites and Drum World magazines,
Yeah.
Modern Drummer, whatever it is, saying that it's in production.
Oh, great.
And there was a blurb, I think, in the latest
Prog.
but there's no, it's coming out then.
Just
but
that
it's
continuing.
Yeah, and it's the story of his life. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just it's not just Alan White, and yes, it's his upbringing. Obviously, he did play with John Lennon, which
Yeah.
is no
And
great
George
chance.
Harrison.
And George. And if you're a fan of Alan,
It's coming
it's
out.
coming.
All right.
It's coming. So yeah.
Looking forward to that.
And speaking of Blu-rays, we also have, they're starting now, I think we may have talked about this as they go through the toll boxes. I'm like, well, they're going to have to go back because to do them Atmos. Well,
Yeah.
they're not redoing the boxes per se, but they are putting out, they're starting with Aqualung and War Child,
Yeah.
which kind of makes sense to me, I think. I'm not sure yet. Depends what else they're going to do. Well, because then I could see if they're putting them out too, like Thick as a Brick and Passion
Yeah.
Play would make sense. Stand Up and Benefit,
Sure.
and you can kind of go through that way. But I don't know if they're a straight just pull. I know there is some bonus stuff, but not everything.
Yeah,
That's
but these are new Atmos mixes that were
These
not
are new-
available on the boxes when
Correct,
the boxes came out.
because they were not they weren't done as
And they're not that old.
They're not
so
that
they
old.
don't need to re-put out the whole box.
Exactly. They don't need
Got
to
it.
do that. So
Is that on Rhino? Or are the Tull releases a Rhino moment?
well, no, they're Chrysalis. I
They
don't
are,
know who
okay.
owns Chrysalis. I thought they were
Okay.
still an imprint.
Yeah. I just didn't know because
Yeah, no, they're not a
putting out
Rhino.
everything regardless of whether it sold or didn't sell.
Right.
Under Wraps gets put out.
Right.
Egg puts out.
Yeah.
All of that.
Well, but
And
they're putting money into it. I mean, Under Wraps, you got the new drums, you got new mixes.
Well, that's what because we were talking about the Yes stuff. Why don't they go beyond? Why wouldn't they go beyond Relayer? But if they can go beyond whatever,
yes,
with Tull, and
why
put
not?
out whatever they should do it.
So it's not clear where this is going, but I knew this would happen. So.
And the next format, whatever comes after Atmos, is going to be
it'll be here before they go through all the toll stuff. I just it'll be interesting. I'll be keeping an eye on the release date because to see if streaming wise we get the Atmos stuff. So. And just a few little things. So I thought this was fascinating. So they re-released Emerson, Lake and Powell on vinyl, not just vinyl, gold. It's a gold. I was like,
is that the
yes
audiophile master or whatever?
No. It's just a vinyl reissue. It's not a mobile fidelity gold disc. It's just a reissue of vinyl, and it's gold. It's more of the kind of yellowish gold, and it looks cool, but it's the album. I mean, it's the album.
Well, I think they are doing the mobile fidelity.
Okay.
Of Elias of Sunhillow.
Wow.
A vinyl of that.
Okay. Are you going to buy that?
No, because I already have 900 copies of Elias of Sunhillow.
Oh God.
Yeah. I don't know how much it would change.
Right.
And because they did a 5.1 up. What is it when they can't have when they don't have the master tapes? They do an
they do an up mix or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So now with AI, they can do a lot of different things.
Probably, but anyway, so that's coming out. It's a limited edition of like 2000 or something.
Another great recent reissue is a new remix. Remix of Gentle Giants in a Glass House, which is one of those albums that fell in a not necessarily major label, but it's an amazing album. So it's the album that came out before, I think Freehand. I think it's after.
Oh, okay.
Why am I spacing? The Power and Glory. I think it's after Power and Glory. Either way, it's an amazing album. They've been remixed. They've all been out there talking about it.
Yeah.
So those guys are. We'll have to try to see.
They
if
have
we
had
can
a. I don't know if it's a resurgence, but they're at least in the conversation a lot more.
Well, what I think part of the reason is, so there was a couple of people, one guy in particular, who kind of pushed the legacy in the 90s and beyond that of Gentle Giant. Remember, they were putting out boxes. They would put out box sets of like 4 or 5
Yeah.
CDs, and before anybody was doing that, of just unreleased stuff and this and that. And that was really spearheaded by one guy. I can't remember his name. But the band members began to get more involved.
Okay.
And I think that's helped the resurgence. And I think what's really helped is Derek Shulman.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a.
Yeah, I mean, he's an interest. So he did a biography, but he's been more out there about Gentle Giant than he ever was before.
Well, because he stopped doing Gentle Giant, and then he was an A&R man.
He was an A&R man, and he was president.
On Jovi.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, many people, but he was also label president too. But I think as Gentle Giant continues to be out there, the surviving guys have also been out there. But I think Derek being out there, especially the last couple of years, I've seen him show up on podcasts a lot and this and that can't hurt. That can't hurt.
And why not? Yeah. Again, this is this legacy thing that we just were talking about with Genesis. Why not just,
if you don't, no one is, you know?
And if you're retired and not doing anything, why not fill your...
Did Genesis sell their catalog? I can't remember if they did or not. Yeah, I don't know. The last thing I have, and it falls under yes, is I saw Rick Wakeman's coming out with a new album in October, but it sounds like, it looks like with the... It's not another solo album. This is with the ensemble.
Rock
I can't remember the name, but it had like kind of a reddish orange cover. Okay. It's I saw something about it in the new Prog.
Got it. And I listened to some new song of his yesterday.
Maybe that's from it.
It could be, but it was a single song, but it had a female.
That would make sense because Melancholia, which came up, that was piano.
That was full piano. Yeah, this is more full on Prog.
A guy that retired, he's really doing a lot.
Then they just had, and I've only seen snippets. The BBC just did a whole
Proms. The
Proms.
The Prog Proms. And it's funny because like the Proms just have a real bad reputation if like you're English and you're into music, because it's like, the establishment and stuff. But
the idea of it is what?
It was to celebrate. Yeah, I mean, it's like
musicians playing songs of a certain genre.
I guess. I mean, it's had real bands over the years.
Oh,
like there's I don't know if it's a bootleg, but I know Soft Machine played the Proms because I have a CD of it.
Okay.
That was broadcasted on the BBC, but I don't pay attention to those anymore. And but I saw that they were doing Prog Proms, and I was like, okay, well that's interesting. So then it happened, and there were some videos. I watched some videos of people doing Crimson. They did
because the guy from Elbow was singing.
Right. Yes. And they did Schizoid Man. They did Talk with the Wind, and Court.
And Carl Palmer was there.
Palmer was there because they opened up with Fanfare. If you go online, you can find the set list. There's some interesting choices that they made, and it's funny because they do Tubular Bells, and I'm watching it while I'm reading the comments, and like people are like, makes a mistake, makes a mistake, and then it comes up, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so he didn't hit that one note. But one person did show up to sing his song, and that was Peter Hamill.
Yes.
Which, if you're a fan, it was. I mean, the first line it takes him, but once he gets into it, I mean, I wish they showed more of him because he's got this big grin on his face. I mean, you got a big orchestra behind it. So they play Refugees, which is an early Van der Graaf tune. It was a single. It has it has cello in it. It has it follows that they would do that. And I thought it's for a guy that's about 80, if not 80.
Yeah.
He sounded pretty good. So that's on YouTube. I'd suggest people check it out. But there was a lot. They do Yes. They
did And You and I Yes with 2 female singers, which I did not get a chance to see, but I did see that it was on. You had sent me a bunch of links of things, and I tried to get through them all.
It looks like it was like way over 2 hours.
Yeah,
way over 2 hours. But
so I will watch it. I will
yeah.
watch it if the whole thing is there, but I'm not going to try to piece together the set list by
the Crimson
videos.
stuff is so I've seen the Crimson stuff because those were separate videos, and then I saw the Hamill.
Yeah,
but yeah, so there you go.
There you go.
Prog will find a way
if you wanted to.